Hey guys, today we are talking about how to reach financial freedom. And these are just 5 steps that I'm going to implement. It's not the only way to do it. It's not necessarily linear either. They're just the 5 broad steps that I want to implement in order to reach more financial freedom. And I wanted to share it with you guys because, yeah, it just makes sense. And if you are really interested in finance and stuff, I don't know, I love talking about this stuff. So if you like talking about this stuff, maybe this is interesting. And maybe this will give you some ideas for your own financial plan. Yeah, so we're getting rich in 2023. Maybe not 2023 because we're already halfway done and it's hard to get rich, it is. These steps are not get rich quick. They require building up an empire, so to speak. That sounds so elite for no reason. It's not just like, okay, do this one thing and you're gonna get rich in 2 weeks. Because those things usually don't work. Gambling doesn't work, the lottery doesn't work, usually. In the long term, they do not work. So these are ways that people have done, tried and true, built their wealth up to where they are now. And this is also a plan to where when you reach retirement age, that's not the only time you have money. You know what I mean? It's a little better these days when the life expectancy is a lot longer than it used to be. But still, when you're 65, and that's great when you have money then, but we are trying to get money earlier than that. So yeah, we don't just want to like work all of our youth away and then finally have money, you know what I mean? So let's get into it. The first step to financial freedom is obviously eliminating personal debt. And you know, eliminating may be a bad word because it's almost impossible to eliminate some debt. Like a mortgage, not many people have just cash laying around to pay that all off. Say with a car loan or student loans. Credit card debt is another one. Mostly just try to get rid of these debts as fast as you can. Or just don't ignore them or don't put them off till later because it's just gonna get worse. And that may be obvious, but I know a lot of Americans have debt and it's tough. It's really tough out here. I do not look forward to the day I have a car note because I anticipate having a car note, of course. I don't have any debt following me around right now, so that's good. The less debt, the better. But you know, it just be like that sometimes. Number 2, and this is also obvious, but have a job. And I'm mostly talking to people in college age. I remember watching a video one time and she wanted to tell her younger self, get a job because you do have time. I know a lot of college kids think they don't have time to have a job, they're so busy, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that really is true. But I found that the times that I did have a job felt just the same as when I didn't have a job. I don't know, something about how I managed my time better, I guess, when I had a job because it was like, okay, I have this extra responsibility, now I have to time manage better. It just felt the same to me and I'm really happy I did work some. I could have worked more probably. I'm not saying you should like burden yourself with tons of work or whatever. If you're on the fence about it when you're younger and in college and school and you're like, maybe I should just focus on my studies, I don't know, consider getting a little job. If you can find a job that maybe you just work 10 hours a week or something, or you can find a little side hustle. I have a lot of side hustle videos on my channel too, like selling things on Mercari or starting a dog walking business. That's legit. YouTubers hate on the dog walking business, but it is legit. People want that, people look for it, and there's a market for it. So try it if you like animals. It's a good gig. And you can also babysit cats. Oh my gosh, cats are so easy and fun. So anyway, just a little plug there. I can put those videos in the cards up here or up here, wherever it is, if you want to see some side hustle ideas, because those are like on your time. You don't have to report to a job every night or whatever. So I'm mostly talking about those people who are established in their 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, and are like, obviously I need a job, I have a mortgage, I have kids, whatever it is. That's a little more obvious. Also, the job market has shifted a lot. It is not so taboo to just jump around companies as much. So if you needed a sign to look for that other job that you would prefer, then this is your sign. Because it's important to be happy in your job, and that's my goal. I am currently really job hunting right now. I actually might be hired at Starbucks pretty soon, which is not the end goal, but I am very excited to start making money again. So that's cool. And that kind of goes into like have a job. Like I'm not going to wait until I have like my dream job, or not my dream job. I'm not gonna wait until I get the job that I was kind of looking for to start making money. I had about a month, actually more than a month. I've had more than a month of a break after I finished school and graduated, and it's been so nice. But I also love making money, and I love having a job and paying for things. So yeah, I'm kind of talking to my younger crowd when I say have a job, I guess. Also in high school. Tip number 3 to financial freedom is cultivate a side hustle or side hustles, or or cultivate these side hustles into eventually a main hustle. And that's kind of the goal, isn't it? For a lot of people, is like have your normal job and then do this job, your own venture on the side, to eventually make that into your whole job. That's always been such a draw to me. There was an entire summer not long ago that I just did my own endeavors, and I made quite a bit of money doing that. I was like 19 or 18, I was probably 19, but I dog walked, I edited videos, I sold jewelry, I house cleaned, I mowed lawns. I just worked on my own time, and it was pretty successful. So if you have the ability to do that, if not, you can have your job and just focus on one side hustle. Really focus on it. Because if you start doing too many side hustles and you have this other big responsibility like school or work or whatever, then you're gonna fail because you're not putting all of your energy into one thing. And I'm not even gonna lie, this is what I'm working on right now, is YouTube, is cultivating the YouTube side hustle. And because it is lucrative and it does work and it is really cool and fun, however, it requires a ton of skills, a ton of patience and consistency and hard work, especially when you're just starting out. I mean, you need to know how to present your lighting. You need to know how to present yourself, how to project your voice, how to public speak, how to create a comprehensive video that people actually want to watch, how to edit, how to upload, how to make thumbnails, how to how to SEO right in the YouTube description box, and really just how to put yourself out there, how to make people find you. It's a lot of skill that goes into making YouTube, and it wasn't always like that, obviously. It's just kind of weird, and I know I say that a lot in my other videos, like, oh, it wasn't always like this. Back in the day, it was a lot easier to, you know, get followers and get subscribers and stuff. But that's just how it goes. This got super popular, super saturated in certain niches especially. And it's weird when you remember when it used to be a lot easier and when it used to be just like, oh wow, I can get 400 views, no problem. But it's not quite like that anymore. And that's okay, it just adds an extra layer of challenge, and competition is good. Now I'm going on a YouTube rant, but you know what I mean. YouTube can be a side hustle that you're working on. I know a lot of people love digital marketing these days. Oh my gosh, it's so big. It might be really competitive though. Also things in person, like services, like dog walking, like I said, or maybe you are really good at painting house walls. If you're really good at painting interiors, then maybe you can market yourself as a little interior painter. People will hire you and you'll make your little side hustle on the weekends or something. I don't know. But if it's something you enjoy and could see yourself doing a lot, or even like take your full-time job into a part-time job and do both things part-time, I don't know. The happier you are, the better. All right, let's continue. Tip number 4, and I already have this going and you might already have this going. This is not a necessarily linear thing, but is to invest or open a high-yield savings account. And I say open a high-yield savings account because a lot of people just focus on like, okay, invest, put your money in the stock market, put your money in retirement funds, put your money everywhere. However, I know there's tons of people out there who are still kind of standoffish on the whole stock market thing because it does crash. I mean, it has a history of crashing sometimes. It doesn't always work out. There are methods and ways to do that, and that's a whole nother video of how you can like invest in index funds or mutual funds, and it's a lot more stable, a lot less risky, and a lot more like over time you get your reward. And those can be and are really lucrative over time. However, if you are a little skeptical and you still want to make money off of the money you already have, making your money grow more money, then you should definitely look into a high yield savings account, because I don't know about in the future, but right now the savings accounts are really high, and that's not really a good thing for all things in the world financially. However, for the people with high yield savings accounts, it's awesome, because right now my savings account is at, I think, 4.15 APY, which basically means that all the money in my savings account is cultivating more money for me every month, and it's putting it back into the savings account, if that makes sense. So I'm not making a ton of money because I don't have a ton of money, but I'm making some money each month just on the money that's in my savings account because it has that really high interest rate right now. That's really high for a bank account. There's also ones that are at like 5 and 6% right now. So do your research. A lot of checking accounts are only like 0.1% APY, which is basically nothing. But savings accounts, Those can get you somewhere. And then you can double dip. You can invest in the stock market, and you can have your little high yield savings account over here with all your rainy day money and stuff making more money for you. It's just the perfect passive income storm, you know what I mean? And my final and fifth tip to financial freedom is to purchase property. And this is like my long-term goal, long-term thing I'm going for, is to purchase property or purchase land and then rent it to people or sell it. I guess it depends on what's going on at that time. But if you own land or property, and it's been like this forever, people need land, people need property to live on, so there's always going to be a market for it. And then if you own that land and rent it or sell it off to some other people, then you're taking home some of the money. And I'm not talking about like rent it out as an Airbnb, because I know there's a huge controversy with that right now on like buying a home and then creating like a temporary stay house out of it instead of like an actual living space for people who actually need to live there, you know? And I know that's a big deal right now, and so I don't want to get into all that. If you were to buy a house right next to a university or college or something, and you would rent it out to college students for the year, then that would be a really good way to provide housing for some people, but also create income for yourself. It's a win-win. I would want to do a win-win thing like that instead of like damaging the economy more with Airbnbs. I don't know too much about that, but I don't really want to get into the whole controversy with that. So it would be more like I am renting out to families, or I don't know, renting out whole apartment buildings would be amazing. Oh my gosh, I would love to own like some apartment doors or something. That would be awesome. But yeah, so those are my 5 tips to financial freedom. These are really broad, really like you can do it pretty much however you want, but I think there are 5 big steps that everybody needs or everybody should try out in order to achieve financial freedom. Not so much the purchase property. I don't think you need to purchase property to get rich, but you definitely need to pay off your debt, have a job, cultivate side hustles into maybe eventually your main hustle, and invest or high yield savings account, which will not always be the case. I don't think high yield savings accounts are like super high forever, so get on that right now. I hope this was helpful or at least inspiring in some way. Maybe it was not helpful at all and you knew all of this already. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment about your financial experience, what your financial plan is, and like and subscribe if you want to stay around, and I will see you later.